You're listening to an East Coast Guild podcast. Check us out at eastcoastguild.com. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Organization 2. This is episode 5 of... I was going to give you like a number that we're going to do, but I've been told I have to make it to at least 6 before anything else happens.
Yes, you do.
So that way it becomes an actual podcast or something like that. That all being said, we're coming today with a guest, PixelsGetMe. PixelsGetMe. Because he's a cool dude. He's actually let me be on his podcast before, which is awesome. If you are interested in gaming news, tech news, and stuff like that, or even just hearing some beautiful voices, look up PixelsGetMe on all of the major podcasting sites. He uses Anchor like I do, and therefore they've been pushed out to every single platform known to man. At least for the most part. So that all being said, again, if you guys want to watch any of my content live, mixer.com/killohms. You guys want to talk or yell and berate Sando, do that over on Twitter at Sando153.
Do it. Nothing ever happens on my Twitter anyways.
You guys can also talk to me on Twitter at MindOfKill. All of this will be down in the description. Now, I would like to get with our wonderful guest here today and talk a little bit to Pixel. So, Pixel, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great, Kill. How are you guys doing?
Can't complain. It's a
I'm
little
Sando,
snowy
so
today.
That's all I have to say.
Oh, there you go. You're doing good, Sando.
Yay!
So, what's your like brief history with Kingdom Hearts?
Brief history with Kingdom Hearts. It started when we were at a GameStop, probably back, I don't know, early 2000s, maybe 2000. I want to say 4. I don't know. We were looking around, me and my wife, newly married, looking around for a game to kill some time together because it's something we did when we first got married. And I think my dog is actually like barking for the first time ever. She doesn't actually.
Oh, it's all good. I can't hear her at all.
Awesome. She's just yelping, little puppy dog. But but yeah, so we saw Kingdom Hearts on the shelf there, used, and I talked to the GameStop employee. I'm like seriously, like Mickey Mouse and stuff? Like, what's the deal with this? And he's like, dude, it's incredible. And my wife, she was like, my wife's like, does it have Snow White and the princesses and all that stuff? And he's like, it has like everything. It's insane. Yeah. And we're like, huh. And then
and of course, this is pre Kingdom Hearts 2, so that's even better.
Yes. Yeah. So we played through that, and we were completely mind blown. Quite the adventure. And then I think Kingdom Hearts 2 came out soon thereafter.
Yeah, about a year after. It came out in 2005.
But by the time we kind of got through it, we're like, oh my gosh, Kingdom Hearts 2 is actually coming out. We didn't have any of the mobile platforms at the time, so we didn't get to play.
I can't blame you.
That stuff until 1.5 and 2.5. But
that's fair.
It was really good.
Fair.
Like, and it left a serious impression because I was a huge, like, my first RPG was Final Fantasy VII. My firstborn, his middle name is actually Cloud, so I took it that serious. And
you're like the perfect gaming father right there. It's like father of the year.
Yeah, but I couldn't make it his first name. That was one of our discussions in the beginning.
I get that.
First name.
I get that.
He ended up taking my first name, so it's Pixel Cloud. No,
Pixel Cloud. Get me. I see it. I see it right there.
Yeah, you see. But yeah, he Cloud and all of that had a huge effect, and then seeing that kind of blur into Kingdom Hearts, I was just like completely enchanted. So
that's
I mean,
awesome.
the story's tricky. The story's really tricky, guys. So it's not something I'm a scholar on. But I definitely enjoy it.
But that's why they listen to the podcast, because last week we went over the history, the shortly abridged hour-long history of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it was something.
It was something. It wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. I still suggest going to a YouTube video that's actually been like scripted out, versus two dudes sitting in a basement. Hard, but that's awesome. That's cool because it's such an early staple in your guys' marriage, and then you guys get to play it whenever you guys want, get to experience the games, bring that with your kids, and it's a great passion that you guys have between each other and with the series, and it's like a there for you kind of thing, which is kind of dope. That's pretty awesome.
And then in anticipation of sorry, go ahead, Sendo.
No, you go right ahead.
No, you're fine.
In anticipation of Kingdom Hearts 3, we got 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, and played through it just together as a family, just so the kids knew what was about to happen. Because me and my wife had played it, like 10 years prior or whatever. But
exactly.
It was a nice refresher for us too. So we recently finished 2.8 probably about a month ago.
Such a good
and now
game.
we try not to talk about Kingdom Hearts too much because it's pretty serious. So
oh yeah, it is. That's
trust me,
I know.
Yet, so we don't have that blow off valve available. So it's like if it gets passionate, like there's nothing to
like calm the flames.
Yeah, exactly, because it's pretty intense.
Well,
stuff,
a
man.
great place to try to calm those flames is mixer.com/killohms every Saturday starting at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We play Kingdom Hearts once a week.
You guys are killing everything on that stream. It's awesome to watch.
Are trying so hard. We still have 4 organization members and 1 mega boss.
I almost beat the mega boss last time.
That's it. We're very close. We're very close to being completely done with that game, which is exciting in its own right. One small thing I forgot to say with some podcast news before we jump on into the topic tonight, or today rather, is that the podcast currently, as I'm looking at this, has 55 total plays, averaging about 13 plays per episode.
That's actually pretty nice.
And so the first one's just shy of 20 listens. And the newest one, which was a 6-minute little theory craft from me as I had come home from work, I was in the car on my way home from work, has 10 plays, which is the newest. And it's got the lowest on it right now, which is pretty cool. I expect the little bonus episodes to not have as much because they're not like on YouTube and everything like that. So
little bonuses here and there.
Yeah, little bonuses when my phone flashes something and I'm like, oh my god, I need to talk about this. I have an idea. It's one of those nice things. So I know as you guys are so wonderfully anticipating seeing the title of this one, you're very excited because you want to know what we're thinking that's going to happen for KH3.
Spoiler: everyone dies.
Spoiler: I don't think everybody dies. I think everybody but Sora dies.
Maybe one person doesn't die.
One person
Donald.
doesn't, but then we see him in a different realm, and oh man, some of the stuff,
terrible magic.
Some of the stuff about the Keyblade Graveyard that's coming out right now, like, so some people did some matching. We're gonna start it right here because this is our predictions for KH3, right? So we're gonna talk all pre KH3 because this is coming out. This one should come out 2 days before. No, the day before.
Yeah.
KH3 releases in the United States.
That way I can re-listen to this after getting this entire conversation.
Exactly. That's the best part.
While I skip
while you sit there and play through Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yeah.
Like, what better to do than to listen to a Kingdom Hearts podcast while playing Kingdom Hearts? I know I won't be doing it.
Just play Kingdom Hearts. I mean,
so one of the big and really kind of cool things, and I touched on this with my like mini episode. Pixel, I don't know if you happen to listen to it or not. I talked to Sando about it. So the mini one, it was a Xehanort theory, and basically I think that Xehanort is Luxu, which is or at least I think young Xehanort is Luxu.
Yeah.
And whenever he had finally opened the box or whatever, this darkness that was inside that was basically, seemed to be released for the Keyblade War came out and thus changed him a little bit, and then gave him the power to give his heart to break his heart, to basically turn himself into Voldemort and Horcrux the crap out of the Kingdom Hearts world. And then doing that to the Xehanort that we see in the chess trailer with young Ericus. I think that he also has been touched by Luxu, and that's how he got Mr. Wigglefingers. Yeah, we have special names for the Xehanorts. He's always wiggling his fingers.
These might become official names, guys.
They should be. They should be. We're official Kingdom Hearts people right now. If you guys didn't know, Square, hire us. I'm kidding. I don't want a job
notes,
there,
dude. Like wiggly fingers,
Mr. Wiggly Fingers.
I don't know.
I gotta go back and listen to that again.
That only applies to old Xehanort, though.
Yeah, no, it only applies to goateed bald Xehanort.
Yeah,
is Mr. Wigglefingers.
Because
he just always is running around wiggling his fingers. Every time he talks, just look at his hands, and his hands are always like, I'm doing it right now. Sando can see, but he always is just like wiggling his fingers, man.
I am playing the invisible piano.
Yeah, right. But I think that their homeworld, and this is where I'm kind of interested, because their homeworld is either Escala which is the world that he talks about like at the very end of the fight trailer, the battle trailer.
Yeah, Scarlet Clam or whatever.
Yeah, it's my buddy texted it to me. It's like it's Latin. Surprise, surprise, they're bringing Latin in, which is all the greatness. It's Scala ad Caelum.
Yeah, but it's like a Caelum type thing, almost like a yeah. I don't know the way he says it.
Caelum, yeah. It's basically Caelum is Latin for sky or heaven after a quick Google search, and so it's gonna be interesting. But apparently that place matches a lot of the decorations on the walls and on the pillars actually end up matching and looking a lot of the broken down stuff in the Keyblade graveyard. So I'm thinking that somewhere either Daybreak Town has something to do with this kingdom in the sky.
Yeah.
Or Kingdom of the Sky. I don't know what Scala means. I don't remember my Latin that well. I could easily do a quick Google search over here. But I think that either is going to have something to do with Daybreak Town, or it has something to do with their hometown where they were originally from, which might be, maybe it fell to darkness during the Keyblade War or something like that, and he just wants it back. Because Xehanort could have some very pure ideas, like some very pure motivations behind the destruction of the universe and bringing out the original Kingdom Hearts with the Keyblade, or it's the one with the X, the Greek letter key blade, the original blade.
And we very well could have like an origin story for Xehanort.
Yeah,
OG Agent.
Yeah.
Xehanort.
I expect to have it, because like it's one of those things of, if we don't have any background on him, like that, but that's the other thing. We need more background on what happened with the foretellers as well.
Well, I figure,
and where are we gonna? We're never gonna. I don't know how we're gonna find that story.
I kind of figure we will have an origin story because it has been confirmed that this is the end of the Xehanort saga.
Yeah, it's the end of the Bringers of the Seekers of Darkness saga.
If they don't have anything to follow up with, more background on all the evil people,
yeah,
I don't think they will in the future. Well, at least for this stuff.
Fair enough. And I mean, I will say, like, they just need to sorry, so Scala stands for scale. So scale of the sky.
Or Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, or Stairway, yeah. So that could
copyright
be...
though.
You know what?
I mean, they are Kingdom Hearts and stuff, but still, they have to follow copyright. So
that's true.
Call it Scala.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. But I'm interested to see what happens there. I think the person who we think is Xion, who has the Keyblade pointed at Axel, after seeing that fan-made trailer that you showed me, I'm a little interested to see if that's actually Xion or if that's Roxas.
I think that's Roxas.
Which is going to be very spooky, because I originally was saying in my analysis of the trailer that it was probably Xion, because he didn't remember who they were. Which also means that Xion could be looking a lot like
Christmas,
almost a mixed blonde Roxas Sora hybrid.
It could be.
I don't know. The fact that Xion's coming back in the first place is not okay to me. Like, I'm not okay with that. That's spoopy. That's spoopy right there.
Pixel, what we're referencing, I had found a video. It was a fan edit of all of the trailers cut together to make more sense, kind of.
For 3?
Yeah, I'm sending it to you right now.
And one of the last little scenes is someone in like the organization.
It's the organization walking away from. Hooded. Yeah, well, no, they weren't hooded. It was.
It looked like Roxas, but
it looked like Roxas from behind.
The last little scene is them pointing up a weapon towards Axel.
Yeah, and like I'm pulling it up just to look at it again at the very end. Would you guys? It's a really cool trailer. If I remember to link it, I might not. Probably won't. I'm bad about that sometimes, but it's very cool. And to look at it, I'll tell you guys right now, it's an unofficial launch trailer by Kefka Production. So go take a look at that. Kefka Production did it. And it was really cool. I remember telling Sando when looking at it that at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it looks like Terra's armor is fighting Terranort. Like the Lingering Will is getting ready to fight some Xehanort right there. Or some Terranort, from after he got his body stolen from Birth by Sleep. So he's looking at stealing his body back, which is already like, oh my gosh, there's so much that's going to happen with this. I'm very excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. This is going to be just, oh, my heart is ready to be taken by a Keyblade of Darkness for this.
You cry in.
Oh, I will cry so many tears. And it's
As you're
just
saying that, I'm watching the trailer and they're crying. I was like,
oh yeah,
hilarious.
no, that's how it works, my dude. Little did you know. Also, like, there's a cool part, like, yeah, so here it is. It was it's the part we're talking about. It's a frame between 301 and 302, right around 3 minutes to 301. Oh, they're holding both Keyblades.
Yeah,
so that is
like
Roxas.
Yeah,
That is
like
Roxas, but that might not be when he was fighting Axel. That might just be Roxas coming back.
but still,
I don't know, man. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of speculation about this because that Axel that's crying right beforehand, he isn't in the Keyblade graveyard.
Yeah,
The scenery around it doesn't make sense.
the scenery around it looks like it's Destiny Isles.
Exactly. So I don't know. This game is going to be crazy. So I've gone and already thrown off one of what I think one of the things is going to happen is we're going to find out that Xehanort is Luxu and that there's some timey-wimey stuff going on because it is canonical that the mobile game is in a parallel universe to our Kingdom Hearts universe.
Yeah.
And so that's where I also think that there's a little bit of this weirdness that's going on. But that being said, Pixel, I'll let you go next. Do you have a prediction that you think is going to happen or something some theory craft that you want to throw out there?
Man, like nothing super specific. Like the story is so convoluted that anything we say could happen and anything we say couldn't happen. Like it is straight up like there's so many curves. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there are. It's going to be a beautiful hourglass of a story.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good. I was thinking about the I think just the storytelling as we're traveling through the different worlds. I think it's going to be doing a much better job than Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 did.
Well, that's
I think it's going to have I think they've got enough of that back plot of convolutedness going on that we're not going to be just like, hey, we're in this world now and hey, this princess needs our help or whatever side effect story.
I think it's going to be
a lot main key players that we're chasing through all the worlds like the whole time, like,
well, and
nonstop.
I agree to a point with there being that Sando and I we talked on a previous unreleased podcast. I think it was last week's. We talked about it a little bit, but we talked about what happened in the different games and how in Kingdom Hearts 1 it was the search for his friends. Kingdom Hearts 2, it was the manipulation of Sora to do certain things. And I think that this one, it's not necessarily going to be him trying to go around finding people. Like, I think he's going to be trying to find Xehanort and find answers for the BBS trio. But I think the big thing is it's going to be the organization trying to break Sora and trying to get his heart to go to darkness.
I feel like we had said it was despair.
Yeah, despair. We because we attribute it to different like emotions.
Yeah.
I think.
But that scream, man, in the
they're going to break him, and it's going to be. I think that's how Scala
use your words.
Yes, I tried to, and that's what happened from me trying to use it. Yeah, the Stairway to Heaven. Dun, 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 dun. Led Zeppelin, don't hate us, please.
No, please.
So, when they're going to the Stairway to Heaven, I think that's because of Sora. Sora is going to cause that. I think something that he does is going to cause that. I also think that world is going to be Xehanort pulling possibly it could also be him pulling two timelines together. He has time magic.
That's what I'm thinking. Something with that this isn't even happening in the future. There's that view of it is in the past.
Well, and
Keyblade War or whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think Scala is the one that he shows at the very end of the battle trailer. I believe that's in the past.
Yeah.
I believe that somehow he brought it forward, or with the power of Kingdom Hearts and the Keyblade, that he did that,
rips it through time.
and he rips it through time, or he breaks down these parallel worlds, because we have Daybreak Town and the mobile game being parallel to this world that we have, because they haven't had their Keyblade War yet.
Yep.
I think that could be something where it crashes that entire timeline down, thus creating a Keyblade War, and starting again. But I feel like Xehanort's old enough, because he, young Xehanort says he's from the distant past. Now I know I'm not super old, but I don't like to think of my childhood as the distant past, right? And that's 20 years for me.
Unless you're like,
but
60s?
like, yeah, maybe 60s. I'd say 55 years ago is the distant past. But if we look at it, young Xehanort is probably about 18 years old, roughly speaking, based on different sizes and comparisons to other characters. Because Sora's about 17 at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3. And Terra was 19 at the beginning of Birth by Sleep.
Yep.
So based off looking at those two character models and such, I'd say that young Xehanort appears to be roughly 18. But he's the Xehanort from the distant past. And if we look at our current Xehanort, most people have speculated that he was about 65 to 70 in Birth by Sleep. Well, it's been 12 years. So he's maybe 80. Maybe 85, like somewhere up in there. I don't know many people that have said that, I'm 85, me at 18 was the distant past. Like, I talked to you about this a little bit before, Sando.
Yeah.
But, and I'm throwing it out there for Pixel as well, but it's one of those things of, I don't know many people that would say that is the distant past. Distant past, I usually feel like that's millennia.
Yeah.
And it's a
like
small
way
thing.
before your time.
Exactly, way before your time. So that's why I don't know. I feel like this young Xehanort has seen the Keyblade. He was there for the first Keyblade War, and Ericus knows like nothing about the Keyblade War. At least he doesn't tell us anything in Birth by Sleep. So like, it almost feels like this young Xehanort is like, that's why I feel like he's Luxu, because he's seen this happen before. I feel like he's seen it. And he's almost orchestrated it to happen before.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel very strongly. There's a lot we do not know.
Yeah. And I know there was one thing I had mentioned before in a previous podcast. I believe I mentioned in a previous podcast. I know I've mentioned to you a couple times, Kill.
Speak up a little bit, my dudes.
Nah, I won't speak up. One of a theory for getting Roxas and Xion all to work hand in hand with Sora and all them would have to be with the Data World in Twilight Town.
Yeah.
Because Hayner, Pence, and Olette have, in the trailer, they have a picture of them with Roxas and one without Roxas.
And the one with Roxas is from the Data World.
Yeah, and they know it exists because they've seen the computer, they understand the computer.
Well, and Sora went through the Data World to get to the world that never was the first time.
Sure, it was broken in two. Well, one of the versions was, but
the Data version was broken. It got broken by Roxas.
It was Roxas, that's right. But Pence, I think, whatever the kid's name.
Pence could use the one in the real world, and he got it to send you to the Data World. He opened it
Which
up.
I feel like that's going to be the gateway between getting, like I said, Roxas and Xion to work with everybody, but with Xion, who knows how that's going to end.
Xion, I see. I feel like Xion's coming back from Xehanort, from Xemnas, being recreated.
She could also be coming back as the Xion that we know, and then getting manipulated and
I don't think
against.
she'll be the Xion we know. I really don't. I mean, I'm very happy to be wrong on that one. I would love to be wrong, but I don't think we'll know her.
Yeah.
I mean, or if we did, she's already been heavily manipulated. But she doesn't exist and was created by things that aren't supposed to exist.
Yes.
So,
Organization 13.
Yeah. But what do you think, Pixel? Throw in some of your opinions.
I think you guys are on the right track. I'm wondering about some of the worlds, and I don't want to like derail
you can derail whatever you want. You are the guest here, and I want you to feel very welcome, because it's about letting you also throw out and not letting. It's about not making me monopolize all the time. That's basically what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that they have a pretty solid backstory to play from, and the worlds that the story has created itself, I'm wondering about some of the unannounced worlds. Scala is one that was just recently shown,
Well, yeah.
They're still holding cards in their pocket, so I wonder, I hope they are. I wonder which worlds are still not shown yet, and if they're actually going to have like more of a way more Kingdom Hearts type storyline in it than the actual world it's based on. I wonder if they're going to finally bridge that pretty hard.
I would love to think they're going to, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be any more than BBS was, than Birth by Sleep. Like, I don't see that being a thing. I don't see it being more than Birth by Sleep. How Birth by Sleep was pretty KH centric.
Yeah, it had a little bit of Disney here.
Yeah, it had a little bit of Disney, but I can't see it being more so. We have yet to see Agrabah, Atlantica, Winnie the Pooh.
No, we've seen Winnie.
Well, we've seen him, but we only saw him for a second.
Yeah.
So we haven't really seen much of Thousand Acre.
That's okay.
That's fine. Thousand Acre can be skipped.
Thousand Acre and Atlantica can both be skipped. I completely agree, and I still would love to see a Treasure Planet world. That all being said, Agrabah has yet to be seen. It's been in every single Kingdom Hearts game. I go to say that I feel like we're supposed to assume it's going to be there.
Yeah, but when you're adding Toy Story, Monsters Inc.,
Frozen,
San Francisco, all that stuff, it's like,
I'm trying to think of all the worlds we've got so far.
I don't know if there's still a possibility to have all the old ones.
Well, see, and I would agree with you if we were still under the limitation of not using Blu-ray discs and using the discs that we use for the PS4, for our Xbox Ones, like those, like being able to put every single Kingdom Hearts game onto one disc, which they have with the complete story. So if you're not a Kingdom Hearts like junkie and already have 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, go out and buy the complete series. That's awesome. If you're a Kingdom Hearts junkie, I really don't suggest it, because you've already spent all this money. Don't go spend $40 more just to have one disc, versus two. But that aside, with how much they put on it, I honestly think we're going to be able to see, we're used to seeing on average, 7-8 worlds. I think we could see double that easily.
And we know they're bringing back Olympus.
They are bringing back Olympus.
Has to come back.
They're bringing, so Olympus, Tangled, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, San Fran Pirates. Those are what we've seen so far, right? Those are 6. Yeah, not including Keyblade Graveyard / Scala, which is going to be the end world. So that's 7 worlds that we've seen so far. We've seen Thousand Acre. We will not be seeing Atlantica because Ariel's a summon.
Did you say Monsters Inc.?
I did say Monsters Inc. I think I did.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
So we're around
Ratatouille. Is it going to be a world or just a summon?
Ratatouille is going to be a summon.
I'm thinking that's just going to be a summon. Destiny Islands.
Destiny Islands we'll see probably. So that's 8 world, 8-9 worlds. Maybe 10 if I missed one. But I still think we can see.
I feel like we'll get
Kingdom Hearts.
We'll get 2, Castle Oblivion. We'll get
Castle Oblivion probably.
We'll get Hollow Bastion.
Realm of Darkness will be a loaded zone. So we're looking at 11 zones right now at the very least.
Yeah.
And with Kingdom Hearts 2, we had World That Never Was, Twilight Town, Radiant Garden, Atlantica, Thousand Acre, 3 there, and 3 on the other side. We had 11 worlds. 11 and then Disney, so 12 worlds. So we had 12 worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, I don't think disc size is going to be an issue though.
No, disc size isn't going to be an issue, and that's what I was trying to say. I think that we're going to have more than we've seen before because we aren't going to have the disc size issue. Like, what? Worst case, they give us a patch that adds in 2 more worlds?
But at the same time, because it's a bigger disc size, they could be doing more cinematics.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think some of it will be taken up by that. I don't know. My guess, I'm going to throw it out there. My guess is somewhere between, it's going to be like 15 worlds. Is my guess for how many we're going to have.
I would say 15 at most.
I think 15 is what we're going to have.
What do you think about Brave?
Brave would be it would be a super awesome add-in. It would be a super awesome add-in, but I honestly feel like the only worlds they haven't shown us are worlds we've seen before. And they're not showing us the worlds we've seen because we're not going to get more hype about seeing Monstro's belly for the 15th time. We're not going to be excited about seeing.
Is going to be in there?
Okay, if Alice in Wonderland comes back, which, in all honesty, it could because he has to go and do the stuff with the Princesses of Heart. Mm-hmm. Because the Keyblade was broken into 20 pieces.
Yeah.
7 of light and 13 of darkness. Which is why you need 13 organization members and 7 Keyblade wielders of light to reforge it properly.
If we bring up Alice...
But Alice could come back because that's a Princess of Heart.
That means we would also have Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty.
We could also see Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty.
And if we have Sleeping Beauty, we're going to have more stuff to do with Maleficent.
Yeah, and Maleficent and Pete's agenda right now isn't the Princesses of Heart, though.
No.
There's a Keyblade war about to happen. We need to stop it.
Yeah.
Maleficent's like, I don't want to die. You've already killed me once. And she didn't do much in Kingdom Hearts 2. She was very, very quiet in that game.
She was a spooky old lady.
Like, her and Pete were very quiet in Kingdom Hearts 2. Because the only time Pete was really involved was just to introduce him and kind of get an idea of what he was. Everybody knew Pete already, but like it was to kind of give that idea of this is Pete.
Mm-hmm.
This is Maleficent's henchman. And it threw in that stuff it gave Mickey more of an antagonist for himself versus like Maleficent being an antagonist, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, like, I know it's probably not going to happen, but I'd like to see, like, Wreck-It Ralph. What's her name? The princess.
Penelope.
Yeah, Princess Penelope. I'd like to see her.
I would like to see her. I don't think we will because Ralph is a summon. Sadly. I would have loved to see a Wreck-It Ralph world. That would have made me so happy for him to walk up to Sora and be like, dude, I love your game. And Sora's like, what? Because that would have been so break the wall hilarious.
Mm-hmm. I can see Penelope making a cameo because in Wreck-It Ralph 2, Penelope is with all the other Disney princesses.
Yes,
that's why I'm bringing that up because
I can see that.
But Sora is also a Disney princess by the standards that they have.
Yeah, but when they question her, they're like, "Hey, did this happen? Does this happen?
You are
a princess, you know?"
Yeah,
it's like, dude, she needs to be in Kingdom Hearts now. This is the first.
It's true, it works. See, and that's the thing. I was really hoping. I was kind of banking. Now, unless they do it differently, because that's the other thing. They could have it be you get the summon after you go to the world. At which point, then Ratatouille might be at least in one of the worlds, and he might be in like Radiant Garden.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so Stitch, you saw Stitch in the
Stitch. We could go to
just as a summon or a world.
We could go to Hawaii.
Ooh.
And go help out with the experiments and stuff.
That might be a part of
it's a possible. I don't know how big of it is.
I can see
just
that
off the coast of Hawaii.
Yeah, it's off the yeah. So that could be another big thing that happens.
Get that Hawaii
because if you're forced to complete the world to then get the summon, we could have to fight Ursula again. God bless all of our souls.
Dude, I love her.
Give us all the help.
Underwater fight though.
Yeah, that was with the Kraken.
That's with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Because that was in Pirates. He was still wearing his pirate's garb.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little darker too.
Gosh, I know way too much about everything that's going on now in the series.
No, it's good, dude. That's why you have a podcast. It makes sense.
You're right.
Do you not understand why you're listening to this right now? This is
if you guys want to know why you're listening to us ramble on, this is why. Oh man. That's the stuff that's going to be interesting about it.
It
just depends on how they want to run summons, because if they run summons how they did in Kingdom Hearts 1, after you completed a world,
yep,
you got something kind of from that world. So it was the same in Kingdom Hearts 2.
I have an opinion.
All right, I'm ready to hear your opinion.
With summons,
Yes.
In KH2, well, in KH1 and KH2, they had Final Fantasy characters. You have Yuffie, Cloud.
Oh, are
Leon.
we going to see like Bahamut, Ifrit?
Are we going to have Final Fantasy summons?
No.
Could we have more Final Fantasy characters?
We could have more Final Fantasy characters because I think we'll see. I honestly think we'll see Noctis.
Because, well, maybe Noctis.
Why wouldn't we? Like, that was the biggest selling game for them right now.
But I feel like they could get away with a stupid joke.
Oh, they could.
And you know what joke that is? Terra versus Terra.
I swear to God, if they bring in Terra from Final Fantasy
5.
Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, 6.
If they bring in female Terra and have her fight Lingering Will, I will lose my crap. Like, you have no idea what will happen. No, I don't think. Oh, here's the thing.
Subtle things here and there.
I don't think they'll add any old Final Fantasy. I think they'll add. If they're going to add anybody, it'll be Noctis,
Lightning,
Prompto, which is one of the guys like
Noctis and his brothers sitting down on some park bench having like cup of noodles, and it'll just be like
they'll be eating ramen, and it'll be a nod to it. Like they won't be like Noctis might be a major character, but the other ones won't.
Cloud and Leon.
We'll see Ratatouille, but we'll see Ignis is the one who teaches Sora how to cook, and thus getting the summon for Ratatouille.
What were you going to say, Sando?
It could be Leon and Cloud just having a conversation. They just look over. It's like, hey, I remember those, and it was a chocobo running off.
Oh my gosh! So watching a thing about the out. So just a side note right here. Have you guys seen? Sando showed me it, but I don't know if you've seen it. Pixel, Breaking Boundaries. It's a YouTube thing. They talk about seeing all these different games and breaking through the boundaries and seeing the camera, like, so you could see all the developer stuff and having special cameras in them. And one of them was Final Fantasy VII that I watched. And so you're at the Chocobo racing stuff. I'll send you a link to it later, my dude.
Yeah, shoot me a link, man.
And it was really cool. And like they showed like the golden saucer and stuff. And like if you remove the backgrounds, they actually made a 3D model of the Chocobo up on the Chocobo racetracks on the golden saucer. And it's hard to see. It looks like a really weird chicken looking thing. I mean, and it doesn't quite look like a Chocobo. Like chocobos are a little bit different from a chicken, but it looked like a giant looking chicken face weird thing.
As long as it's not the demon chocobo, and if you understand that reference, I love you.
I don't understand that one.
It's a speedrunning reference.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, someone is laughing somewhere right now.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
in one of the, I think it was Final Fantasy 5 or 6, you could change what your UI looked like. And one of them was a chocobo. And if you change the colors of it, you can make it very demonic looking.
That's like getting the black chocobo in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, dude.
Which was like just like breeding perfection.
Just because it's Ramza.
Gosh.
Gold was breeding perfection, but yeah.
Right.
I had a whole stable of blacks and then a whole stable of golds. But anyway.
Yep. That is, I couldn't get that far. See, I never got that much into it.
Stupidly excessive, man. It's terrible. But so good at the same time.
Oh yeah, no, this is what makes Final Fantasy VII one of the greatest things, which is what makes, in my opinion, okay, I gotta throw this out there. When Aqua comes back from being Norded, who's gonna break it to her that Zack's dead?
Ooh.
Because canonically,
Aaron will.
Canonically, by Final Fantasy VII timeline, he is very, very dead.
Yeah,
very much so.
And I would love to see the 3 BBSs show up in Midgar or at Radiant Garden, right? Say it's Radiant Garden, or even Olympus Coliseum, and his Buster Sword is just chilling in a cliff. Like that would hit me right in the feels, like his Buster Sword, because Cloud was using his Advent Children Buster Sword in 2.
Yeah,
because he had the whole Advent Children thing.
Look, yeah.
Except he wasn't using it as you use the Advent Children one, which is as smaller swords that you then build upon each other. Other side geeky note. But that's another thing that I kind of think about. Like, are they going to say anything to them that Zack's dead? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they're going to... Do you think, first off, do you think Zack's dead in the Kingdom Hearts story versus Final Fantasy? So Final Fantasy, he is. But in Kingdom Hearts, are they going to say that he's dead? If they do say he's dead, how are they going to break it to the Birth by Sleep crew?
I don't think they'll just. I don't think it'll be brought up. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be one of those unleft bows. But if he was alive, it wouldn't be unbelievable because the multi-timeline craziness and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
it would make sense. It's just one of those things of you've never heard Hercules talk about him. Of course, he was probably an idea that came up after these games were already developed, which makes it hard to fit it in canonically. It was never mentioned by Herc. He's never mentioned by Aerith or Eris, depending on how you want to say her name.
Yeah, if they do bring him up, it'll be just sort of like a side character. Hey, this person doesn't know any of the other Final Fantasy people, and likewise, it'll be
he'll know Cloud though. I feel like he'll know. He has to know the people from his game.
Yeah, he'll know
because that's the thing. Cloud knows Leon somehow.
That's
Squall, good old Squally boy that doesn't like being called Squall.
Darn you, Japan.
They're not from the same game, man.
No, they aren't. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at Tifa, Yuffie, and Eris, they all became friends with Leon in one without knowing each other, being from, well, 3 of them being from one game and Leon being from another. And so with that, I feel like they all still knew each other. They're going to know the people from their own game.
Mm-hmm.
Eris isn't going to forget Sephiroth and Zack. Yeah. But then again, Eris is still alive, even though she got brutally stabbed in Kingdom Hearts 7. Or not Kingdom Hearts 7. Wow, Final Fantasy 7. No, there is no spoiler alert for a game that's been out for 20 years.
Earmuffs.
If you guys don't know, now you know. Congrats.
But speaking of Final Fantasy characters, KH2 they brought out not Tifa, Riku and the other.
They brought out the Gull Wings.
The Gull Wings, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
which were from Final Fantasy X.
Oh, there's 10. I thought it was the 9.
Mm-hmm. They were from 10 because one of them was Luna, who was from 10 or 10-2.
So maybe they'll make a reappearance.
Oh, they'll probably make a reappearance because they're already characters. I don't know if they're going to bring new characters in other than Noxus, his crew, and Lightning.
Yeah.
I can't see them bringing in new characters other than that. Because
if they do,
those are the games that are big.
Mm-hmm. If they do, it might be a reference of, hey, these were legends that like Leon and them know.
Yes, because they could talk about the legends of the before time, and you see like a picture of the Warrior of Light, of Furion,
you could talk
of the Onion Knight, because those are the big 3. Those are the first 3, right? We could see something to them, because I mean, I'm interested. Are we even going to see Radiant Garden? Do you think, like, we're going to see Twilight Town? That's another world that's in there.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. We have seen footage of Twilight Town,
yeah,
so
we should see Radiant Garden.
We should see it.
Yeah.
So if we see it, how's it going to be changed? Are there going to be statues up of some of these heroes?
I don't think so.
Well, there wasn't beforehand either, though, right?
Yeah. If
because Radiant Garden is the Final Fantasy world.
Yeah, it's
if we remember,
crossover.
Leon said our world was taken, and it was always believed that their world was destroyed. Their game, like it was their game world, but their world was really Radiant Garden, and every Final Fantasy character comes from Radiant Garden.
If anything, we'll see more of Radiant Garden like we did in Birth by Sleep.
Yeah. Oh, it was so pretty in Birth by Sleep.
Another idea is we might get Maleficent's castle.
Yes, because it is in the game. Yeah. It was still there. Maleficent's
several times now.
Well, yeah, and her castle wasn't destroyed in 2. It was still there. It was still having a good old time.
It was off in the distance, and
it was off rendered, it was a 2D rendering off in the distance.
So we might get a little bit of insight on that one.
We might. It'd be cool. I'd like to see it because she was trying to get her castle back. But then again, it's interesting that she has a castle there when she doesn't have a castle in the Enchanted Dominion.
Yeah.
So
I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's because Sleeping Beauty's castle. Well, I mean, with Sleeping Beauty alive, she wouldn't be in that world, I guess. So many good things that are going to come.
I was about to say, so many interesting things.
Well, that's why I wanted to do this, especially, the day before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. So everybody's standing in their midnight release lines, everything like that right now can listen to this podcast and think about some of these things right before they're getting ready to go home, download version 1.01 of KH3 and go to town on it and skip school or work the next day. I mean, I know I've taken a day off for work already because of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, you're going to be
I'm going to be down in Raleigh live streaming it for the Microsoft Store.
Yeah, you're gonna have fun that night.
Nice, dude.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun from 10 a.m. from probably about 11 a.m. till about 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a long day.
You're gonna have a long.
Worth it.
I'll throw you a host, but I'm not gonna watch it.
No, I understand. Sando's not going to either, unless he gets far enough ahead of me the night before. Then he'll come up and see where I'm at and be like, "Nope, I haven't seen that. I'm leaving." Or I'll stay for a little bit because I know he's gonna need a mod
and not say a single thing.
Right? He'll just sit there and wait. See, the thing is, Sando's gonna try to beat through the game before me, just so that way he knows where I'm gonna cry because he knows me well enough, so he can come back and watch me cry.
What I'll do is I'll get to the point where people start crying because of stuff that happens, and I'll be like, "Hey, you still got Donald. Doesn't matter if he lives or not. I'm just gonna say it anyway."
Donald. Oh my gosh. Okay. Side note again on this wonderfulness of Kingdom Hearts 3.
So
but Donald's sacrifice. I heard, like, the second that happened, I heard everybody in the community at once just scream, "You don't hurt our meme." he's our joke. You can't touch him. Like, I just felt this cry, this anguish all happen within the community when I watched that in the final battle trailer. I was just like, oh my god, they did not just do that to Donald. He might not know how to heal us, but dang it, only we're allowed to watch him die.
Don't worry, his cousins will take his place. You'll have 3 terrible
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
And Uncle Scrooge.
They do really good following Uncle Scrooge in his business endeavors. Helping run the Moogle's shop and everything.
I just had a great idea. It's not gonna happen.
Smack it on us. This is what this is for.
DuckTales.
Whoa!
I have a DuckTales world.
McQuack?
Dude, yes.
If we saw Launchpad, I mean, he's in the universe because he's canonically in Kingdom Hearts Unchained or in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross.
But with that being said,
because he is a metal.
You know what other duck we could get? Because I believe it's Disney. Darkwing.
Darkwing Duck would be pretty cool. If we got Darkwing Duck,
is Tailspin Disney as well?
Tailspin is Disney, yeah. I'd like to know a little bit.
A metal, yeah. Isn't he a metal?
I believe he is.
He might be. I don't have him.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I could see us getting like maybe a Tailspin and do like a Red
Tailspin
Baron
would
fight.
Be pretty cool. Either that or just have like a mini game. Summon or a mini game. It's gonna be so good.
So many things to show up.
I want everything to show up. I want this to just be the best part of the world.
Talking back at the final battle trailer that we saw.
Yeah.
Did you see this this one part where it looks like you're in a first person mode with a heads up display and there's like a mech of some sort?
Yes. Yes. They showed that. They showed that a lot in the when they announced Toy Story. You get into giant robots and you beat the crap out of things.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like a robot transformer type thing, or if that was maybe also a.
It's not a Baymax. It's not a summon Baymax or a control like a command style. It ends up actually just being a robot that you can jump into and work as a mech. Yeah. So they did add that is a thing to note. They've never added vehicles like that.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, we had the skateboards, but we've never had a vehicle that can go and fight.
Yeah.
And so they did add those giant mechs to be things that are you can jump in and fight them. You know that you kill like the Heartless inside, and then you can.
Yeah. The other closest thing to that would be the Tron bikes.
Huh?
The next closest thing would be like the Tron bikes.
The Tron bikes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Tron, are we going back to Tron?
No,
because we saw it in Birth by Sleep. Well, no, not Birth by Sleep. Dream Drop.
We saw it in Dream Drop, but the other thing is with that, I don't think we're going to see Tron again because we don't have to do anything like that in Radiant Garden. Tron is in Radiant Garden. Space Paranoids is a world that exists there,
and we're not going to see. And Tron
we're not going to have.
I
don't think we're going to see anything like that for Radiant Garden. We're not going to see hundreds of thousands of Heartless attack there like we did in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Now, I hope we do get like another 1,000 Heartless fight because that was awesome.
That was so much fun. The 1,000 Heartless fight was amazing.
Undoubtedly, we'll get probably a couple of those because they're so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can agree with that. I mean, we're gonna get one of those. We're gonna get one of those. Like the end fight in 0.2 from the prologue where she was fighting, where Aqua was fighting the giant like column of shadows, Riku fights one of those, I think, in the realm of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have cool fights like that. We're gonna have these cool fights that pop up.
So any crazy twists you guys are expecting? Like
Riku's gonna die.
So the equivalent of I think a lot of people are gonna die.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to seem dead.
Well, I mean,
I think Riku is actually going to die and not come back.
One of the reasons with Riku is because he didn't play Birth by Sleep, so he doesn't know the story.
He didn't play Birth by Sleep. He doesn't know the story.
Oh,
it's a terrible community meme.
It's great.
But I actually do think that Riku's going to sacrifice himself. And like where Sora looks pretty broken and was about to get attacked by all the Heartless, I think that he was like, all of my friends are gone, but like they weren't dead, they were just gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see Riku. Get killed, and I think it's gonna be not like a moment where Goofy got killed by a rock falling on his head. I think we're actually gonna see him we're gonna see his heart leave his body,
where he sacrificed himself
to save Sora,
and he just disappears.
Yep. I don't think it means that we won't be able to get him back. I think that'll be, if he does die, that'll be Kingdom Hearts 4. Kingdom Hearts 4 is getting Riku back. Again.
Okay, so do you think Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be a thing?
Yes.
Or Kingdom Hearts 4
said that...
It could be going through with Kairi.
True, we could go through with Kairi.
And have a different protagonist.
Nomura did say that Kingdom Hearts 3 is not the end of Sora's story. It's just the end of Xehanort's.
Mm-hmm. It also depends.
It's the end of the Xehanort saga, I should say. I shouldn't say it's the end of Xehanort's story. We don't know that it's going to be the end of his story. It's just going to be the end of him being the focus behind the story.
It could also be, we don't know how much year gap it could be between 3 and 4.
That's true. We don't know if there's going to be a timeline gap. Where it goes down to being like, Sora and Kairi had looked for Riku for years, ended up settling down, getting married, had a kid, and then their kid goes off after becoming a Keyblade Master and ends up finding Riku or something like that.
That's what I feel like one of the games...
Gosh, could you imagine it'd be like Boruto all over again?
Not to say 4 is going to be like this, but just a future KH game is going to be how Sora is Yen Sid.
Yeah.
Sora will become Yen Sid, and he will teach the next line of people.
I think he'll become more like Ericus than Yen Sid, because Yen Sid never shows ability to use a Keyblade. He just has knowledge of the Keyblade.
He has knowledge, but he also has everything that's gone on.
Yeah,
he becomes Chuck Bartowski.
He is. He's gonna be a Chuck Bartowski. Which, if you guys haven't watched Chuck, watch everything, except for maybe the 5th season. We're still iffy on it. We just started it. We're feeling pretty iffy about it, but we're not gonna go into details because that's not what this podcast is about.
About Morgan Rams.
Gosh, I wasn't ready for season 5. Anyway. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm very excited to see what happens with Kingdom Hearts. It's a wonderful series. I think after this one, they're not going to do numbered. I don't think there's going to be any more numbered Kingdom Hearts after this.
I hope they don't.
I really hope not to, because it takes the importance of the side games away.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they'll have shorter names?
I think they'll have names that the community will create to be shorter, like Dream Drop Distance, how we call it 3D all the time. I think that'll be...
Or it might just be like Kingdom subtitle.
Yeah. Well, I still think it'll be Kingdom Hearts with a subtitle. Like, it'll be like Assassin's Creed. Only, instead of Odyssey, it'll be The Great Long Trek.
That's too many letters.
but you get what I'm saying, like, and that's what Pixel's getting on with. It's like...
Kingdom Hearts, Sora's dead.
Is that what they should have called Kingdom Hearts 3? Boom, Sora's dead. Sora got Norded. By the way...
Ventus is Roxas.
No! By the way, Pixel, how do you feel about the term Norded?
I don't have a feeling.
Okay. I ask. There was. Do you know what being Norded is?
I think I've heard it referenced, but I don't know if I could define it.
Okay, so I'll throw in a quick definition there because I was interesting. I had to explain it to another Kingdom Hearts fan, but they're not diehard. And not to say that you aren't diehard.
No, that's fine.
But like I wasn't trying to make that implication. But sitting there, we were talking. We're talking to him, and he's like, everybody was like, Aqua got Norded. Aqua got Norded. What's that even mean? Like, that makes no sense. How can she be
The
person?
eyes or
It's
what?
Yep.
When Xehanort turns you into one of his Horcruxes, which I've just come to love this idea of explaining.
You called it a Horcrux?
No, Xehanort is Voldemort, 100%. He takes a piece of his heart and he puts it into people instead of things. That's the only difference. He turns all of them into basically Harry Potter, only evil and working for him.
When do we play Quidditch in
right?
Kingdom Hearts?
Didn't you play the BBS volleyball game? So, but getting Norded is basically when Xehanort puts a piece of his heart, a piece of his soul into somebody, basically taking over their body and consuming them in a way like he did to Terra in Birth by Sleep.
Where he can control them for a little while anyway.
Where he controls them and then has their body as a vessel for his darkness to grow.
And every vessel that we've seen always have yellow eyes.
Yes, yellow eyes are representations of a seeker of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which we could get into the whole eyes thing. They're going to be throwing very interesting curveballs with us with eyes in Kingdom Hearts 3 that's going to break some of that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Also, speaking... what about Keyblades? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go on. You're fine.
I didn't say that. Go, Sando.
We'll come back to that.
Speaking of eyes, how are they going to explain Larxene coming back and Luxford?
I don't think it's Larxene and Luxford. I think it's their person. I don't think it's their nobodies. Those aren't. I don't think they're nobodies anymore. It's like Lee.
Like Lee?
Lee's not like. It's just like Syax isn't Syax anymore. That's Issa.
Yeah,
that is Issa.
That's fair.
They all returned to the world that they lost their heart in, right?
Which would have been Radiant Garden.
Not for everyone.
Yes, everybody had lost their heart in Radiant Garden, I think. Zig, except for maybe Zig, for Braig. Because Zaldin and Laxius both lost their heart. Because everybody lost their hearts when Ansem the Wise started doing experiments with the Heartless in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
They all lost their hearts in Radiant Garden. Mm-hmm. That's why we see the book kid.
Vexen.
No, Vexen is Zexion.
Sorry.
That's why we see his person actually helping our KH3 crew, our good guys, in KH3. Where Evan, or Vexen, I think had already gotten pretty much Norded because he was kind of like an evil dude.
Yeah, but and it also makes sense for Luxford to go back to pirates because it's greed and money.
It's greed and money. I think the thing is, when they came back and they woke up, I think even if they came, I think they knew where their bodies were going to be. Yeah. I think Xehanort already knew where their bodies were going to be, and he already had the ones that he cared about. The ones that he had already taken control of, he already had.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have Lee somehow on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Which, can I just say, I screamed when I saw that in Dream Drop Distance. Like, I dropped my DS and screamed. Because that was spectacular. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got it memorized. But I think they all did lose their hearts in Radiant Garden, because they all lost their hearts when Radiant Garden was lost, sending Leon and them to Traverse Town.
Yeah.
That was what happened. Because his experiments caused, and some of the Wise's experiments caused it to happen. He caused Maleficent to get all this power to be able to do it. Even though she was looking for the power in the first place, it just gave her a very wonderful out when you have Ansem the Seeker of Darkness basically saying, hey, let me hold your hand and help you out with this, as a voice from the back that nobody will see until after they defeat you. Because that was the biggest mind mess with in the world, was when you beat Maleficent and goes, yeah, by the way, I was actually controlling and manipulating her, and you meet Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who pops out of Riku's body. And you're like, what?
Yes.
That was always fun. especially with his interesting Keyblade, because it's the only Keyblade that's been able to remove hearts.
Speaking of Keyblades,
and now speaking of Keyblades, what Keyblades are we gonna see? Yes, there will be the only 2 Keyblades that will be back. 3, I'll say 3 Keyblades that will be back from any previous Kingdom Hearts game will be Kingdom Key, Ultima, and Fenrir. I think we'll see Fenrir again because I think Fenrir is a very
and Starseeker.
And we'll see Starseeker. Yes. I don't know that we'll use Starseeker though, but we'll see it. But I mean, we'll also see Kingdom Key D, which is another one. We'll see Riku's broken Gull Wing blade or whatever it was called. It wasn't called the Gull Wing, but it was his way to dawn.
Yeah.
I think the only one Sora will use, he might use Starseeker. He will use Kingdom Key. That's because that's his Keyblade. His Keyblade is the Kingdom Key. And he'll have Ultima because Ultima is in every single game. That's what I think.
Every single game.
Oh yes, every single game that has the words Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts has an Ultima blade.
You know, it'd be interesting,
or an Ultima weapon.
An Ultima weapon of such. If we got a special cutscene, and once you make Ultima, it's like, hey guys, look what I found.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like for them to like legitimately be like, Sora,
to man up and say,
how are you doing? Because that's the thing though, because Sora, we'll also see Oathkeeper and Oblivion because those will show up.
But like have a little cutscene as like a side off if you do all these little things, you can see it. You get all the Keyblades. It's like Donald or Goofy or whoever says, Sora, where do you keep all the extra Keyblades that you get?
Well, and the thing is, they're not like the Keyblades. That's the thing that's interesting.
Yeah,
it's the keychains at the very end. So, like, if you look on Kingdom Key, it has the Mickey Mouse keychain. Well, if he takes that off and puts on the one with the star fruit, the Palpu fruit, it turns into Oathkeeper.
Yeah.
If he takes that off and puts on, the crown, it turns into the Ultima blade.
Yeah.
Like, the keychain that goes on the end of it is
what determines
what the Keyblade, what the Kingdom Key looks like in its stats and stuff like that. Which is interesting. He doesn't have multiple Keyblades, he has multiple keychains on the end of the blades.
I would just love to see something more to that effect of, hey, do you really understand what's going on with the Keyblade?
They never talk about it. They never talk about what the Keyblades, like different Keyblades mean different things, because Oblivion was created by Riku and the darkness in his heart. That's what made Oblivion. Was you beating him and kind of putting him back on the path. You knocked his darkness out, which created that Keyblade. Oathkeeper was created because you kept your promise with Kairi.
You kept an oath.
Dun dun dun. And people have the ability to create these Keyblades from the stuff that happens in their heart, especially because Sora's heart, and I've said this for years, and it is probably the worst thing I ever say, but Sora's heart is a whore. It is. It lets everybody in. It is the most crazy thing I've ever noticed with him. But his heart is very, very special in that case, and that's what's going to cause a lot of the problems in Kingdom Hearts 3.
He wears his heart on his sleeve, quite literally.
And everybody else's.
Yeah.
He had Kairi's heart there, Ventus's heart, Roxas's heart.
Oh, so...
so, only like 2 or 3 hearts there. Yeah. In addition to his own.
Donald's heart, because he probably
Donald's
lost
heart, because he's going to jump on that one as it's flying away. Then he'll forget how to use Curaga.
Goofy's... He's got to hold on to Goofy so he can go save Maxie.
Yeah, okay, if we see Max in this game, that would be the best thing ever. I would love to see Max.
Or just something with Pluto.
I still don't know what happened to Pluto at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Pluto is Maxie.
No.
Pluto's a dog. Maxie is a dog. Goofy is a dog.
I don't know that I want to keep you on this podcast.
So back to Keyblades. Have you guys seen the images of everything, like the Toy Story Keyblade and the Frozen Keyblade?
I've seen the images of all the ones that they've put out so far that we've seen. They look good.
Man, the Frozen one looks amazing. Actually,
it looks very. The Frozen one looks like just a icicle version of Stroke of Midnight, though, to me.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It just, to me, I was like, I remember seeing that. Kind of neat.
The Mount Olympus Keyblade looks pretty cool.
Oh, with Zeus holding the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
I like and don't like that one at the same time. I don't like Zeus.
It's interesting concept, and I enjoy it, but at the same time...
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. I'm excited. They're very beautiful. I'm excited to see them as much as they want. We're coming into pretty close to done time here, so does anybody have another thing they'd like to throw in, like to add before we call it?
What about gummy ships or like that equivalent world traveling system?
We will have.
What are you guys expecting?
We'll have gummy missions again. They'll be more intricate. The building process you won't be able to break it as easily with donuts.
Yeah, will donuts return?
No, donuts will not return. They're going to be smarter than that, I think. I hope they don't, because I'd love to have a donut again, but like I don't see it being a thing. They're going to be much more intricate, better graphics. They're going to be what they are. They're going to be loading screens to load these areas.
I see it more as like Star Fox.
Yeah.
Like the way it is in 2, but just a lot more intricate, a lot more complex.
Yeah. It will be.
There might be an entire one section of the game that's minigame based, and it's all gummy ship missions.
I'll appreciate it if it's gummy ship missions, but I won't appreciate. I really would like them to not put a minigame world in. I feel like that's a waste of time. It's a waste of everybody's time.
But minigames.
Yeah, minigames nodding to all the other worlds they couldn't quite get into the game, but they could get a minigame out of. Is pretty cool.
That I would appreciate, but they haven't really done that before.
But minigames.
Well, I'm predicting that. There you go.
There you go. There's
I'm on
Pixels side. Like a golden saucer equivalent. Where I would
love that.
Of the different Disney and Final Fantasy worlds where you can do different things.
I would love that. Have like a trench run for Star Wars.
Yeah, like Marvel and Star Wars would be awesome, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, that'll be KH3.
Yeah, seriously. Honestly, like that's probably already talking. It's just so hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a long talk that they're like, okay, cool. Can we just talk about that in 10 years before?
Right? Nomura's gonna be in the ground before the next Kingdom Hearts storyline finishes.
Yeah, 20 years from now.
Yeah, right. All right, Sandra, do you have any last things?
No, not really a whole lot.
Awesome.
Donald is bae. I'm sorry, Larxene is bae.
No, you already said Donald. That's what you're holding to.
Larxene's the only bae that matters.
I don't have anything else. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to this wonderful podcast. Please share it with your friends. If you want to watch it with, of course, gameplay as always, watch it on YouTube. And we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope you guys have a great day. Stay awesome. Do great things. Adios.
See ya.